Welcome back to the Real Estate 401k Show. And your host, Mike Weinstein, alongside Justin Frederick and Ryan Gerdes. So much discussion in reference over the last couple of years about the market, and is the market going to crash? Are we going to go down in value? Where are interest rates? But one of the topics that a lot of people have been talking about is inventory. And I think jobs is one of the most important numbers. And I think inventory is an important number because at the end of the day, it comes down to the law of supply and demand. So this headline, Ryan, Arizona housing shortage persists even with 55,000 new units permitted in 2024. 55,000 new permits in 2024. That is a lot. It's important to note that approximately 75% of those are included in the Phoenix metropolitan area. Are we gaining Are we gaining ground on this? How important is the inventory numbers to you? And your thoughts on this, man?
I read something, and I forget what it is, and so I hate to cite it, but it mentioned that how we need basically 75,000 more homes, like immediately, in order for us to be somewhat of a balanced market. I don't remember where I saw that, but it makes sense because I'm still seeing prices go up, particularly with new home builds. They are doing such an aggressive job with their financing, and they've been able to get their hands on better labor. I've been seeing more properties go up with more quality. I've definitely seen some exceptions to that statement, but I have been seeing more, especially when I think about 2005, when they were slapping homes together in 4 or 5 months. And it was at you could just.
I feel like it was even faster than that too.
Yeah, they were just shit quality.
Yeah,
and we could see it from the moment that they started breaking ground, and even just the job sites, how messy they were, and just how they were mismanaged, and then you'd have some. I'm not ranking on their age, but I'd see a lot of kids over there with these big jobs because they just needed.
Hands.
Bodies,
yeah.
They might have even let me have a job with the tools.
I don't know
Maybe.
about that, dude. I don't know about that. But I am seeing better quality than what we saw back then. Now, of course, we aren't seeing record-breaking numbers right now like we were seeing in 2005 or even 2021. But they could have easily tried to follow that trend in 2021. In 2020 that they did in 2005, 2006, because the demand was basically the same, right? We were seeing just major buyers coming in paying cash, and the big wigs would go to lunch and say, oh, let's raise the prices of our homes $15,000, and then they would sell out again that afternoon. We're not seeing that, but still 55,000 new permits is a staggering number.
All right, so according to Allison Cook Davis, she is the co-director of the Arizona Research Center for Housing Equity and Sustainability at ASU. According to her, we seem to be growing faster than we can sort of keep up. According to them, going back to 55,000 new permits in 2024, Justin, that the range that we truly need, and it's a huge range, but it's definitely above the 55,000, is somewhere between 65,000 to 270,000. And she acknowledges that the number is a moving target. Here's the thing for me. We're somewhere around somewhere around 9 to 12 million increase we're expected to see in what we need between now and the year 2060. That is a lot.
That's a huge number. But with this article, I think it's very important to say that just like the article presents, it says it's a lot harder to build a home now than it was 20 years ago.
Why is that?
Permitting, engineering.
Supply. I think the supply chain.
Supply is expensive, but just getting a permit to build a home right now and going through the process with any city is it's incredibly difficult. It's time consuming. It's expensive. I feel like the cities could do themselves a favor and make an easier process, maybe more upfront expectations with this. But we rely big time on new builds to keep our market steady and active. Just like you guys were talking about supply and demand. If we had more supply, everybody's like, I feel like the most common approach that I get is, when are these prices going to come down? Nobody can afford anything. A lot of these first-time home buyers are really having a hard time purchasing homes. Well, what we need is more supply. If we got more supply, demand goes down, and that means the cost of homes will level out or be more affordable.
And Ryan, is water a factor into this as far as it becoming a little bit harder? Now, I want to preface this with, I think, my opinion and the research that I've done, I'm not worried about water. We have enough water, but there are people out there, I think our governor's big on, hey, we're going to run out of water. We got to stop all of this building. I think it's a bunch of bull crap. But water is a topic of conversation and is impacting in certain geographical areas, affecting people's ability to get permits.
Yeah, I think that it depends on who's at the helm, right? We've had plenty of water. We've known that for a long time, but of course, it's not a finite resource. It is a replenishing resource, but it does not replenish at the same rate in which we use it. That being said, I think all good business models would rather create a shortage than a surplus. And so if, let's just say, okay, it's talking 65 to 270,000, which is kind of a ridiculous range, you know, let's call it what it is.
What's your handicap? Anywhere between 2 and 84.
Yeah, so there's a 400% difference.
So don't bet you.
Yeah, yeah, it's like, so that number just kind of makes me chuckle, but let's just say that we need 75,000 and that's going to solve problems, right? Then it would make all the sense in the world to only do 55,000 because that's how you're going to keep people competitive. That's how you're going to keep people reaching. Now, if there was just okay, well, we need 75,000, let's go ahead and do 100. Then you flood the market, and then all of a sudden, people who just bought a home in that neighborhood, or
prices will go down.
Then home prices are going to go down, and homeowners start getting pissed. So, I mean, who do you cater to? The homeowners or to the people that
Interesting point.
that don't own property yet? And so I'm going to stick with the fact that the people that have jumped on those opportunities in the past, or who have worked their asses off, or have budgeted correctly, or have whatever they did in order to win, I feel like they should be rewarded.
Okay, I agree, but let's go back to the builders. I see the builders being more concerned with the have-nots than those that have homes already. And so I don't see builders limiting the amount of permits and the amount of new builds because they're worried about homeowners getting upset. They're going to build many homes as they can that they know are confidently going to sell. So then my question is then with that, how much do interest rates play into that? Do you think interest rates play a role in builders holding back a little bit? Because builders, they're not just flying off the shelf with builders right now either. They're selling. They're doing really, really well. But right now, rates is probably, for me, the number one thing keeping people from getting into the game, because somebody can't afford maybe the home at a 7.5% interest rate can possibly now afford a home at 6%. And I don't know a lot about builders, but I know what they don't like. They don't like inventory.
Of course.
Sitting around.
Yeah, they love to give good deals and promo on specs that have been sitting.
I don't think they really care about rates, especially with all the forward commitments that are out there, and that's how they're getting these lower interest rates. And I mean, essentially they're selling the home higher to give an outstanding interest rate with a forward commitment that allows them to get around those concessions.
I agree.
To get the lower rates. It's a brilliant way to, one, satisfy home affordability, and still keep home prices high. So, I mean, I think that they would do as many permits as they possibly could as well. I just don't think that they can keep up out here, and I do think that I do think that that's a problem, but I don't think they care about the interest rates. Actually, it's probably helping them more than it's hurting them.
To expound on that, I think a lot of these bigger box builders are more securities and futures investors than they are actual home builders.
Probably.
They do that more as a front. It's just okay, this is how we're going to service our securities and our futures.
Yeah.
Rather than, oh, hey, we want to go out there and actually, provide housing for the community. Now, that may sound like me being a little bit of a cynic, but at the end of the day, these are business people, right?
Mm-hmm.
And while it does serve a purpose to the community, and while it does, they are making money off the homes, no doubt, but that's kind of a one hitter quitter where they get to cash in on those securities and those futures for decades, right? And so I think that there's a lot of that going on now. Some of the smaller builders who don't really have their foothold on those forward commitments, I mean, they're just going to do what they can to stay in the game and make a dollar, and then whenever rates start getting better, then they're going to adjust their prices and just kind of play. They're going to volley back and forth with the one-on-one game. Whereas these big guys, I mean, these are big conglomerates where they have a lot of very, very smart people that are looking into all this and finding money in different spots and I mean, they're trading out numbers like crazy and then selling the paper off so that they can, remain more liquid, more solvent, and turn around and do it all over again.
The investors are getting better with smaller builders as far as forward commitments. I mean, they've gone down to people that are, I believe it's a minimum of 5 homes a year now that they'll offer forward commitments to those builders. So I feel like in the future it might go even lower just to make more competition for builders and give more incentive for building, which will help our market too.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of these builders end up just bringing cash all in-house. And I mean, like, no Fannie Mae, no Freddie Mac, I mean...
That would be crazy.
That would be interesting.
Yeah.
I don't think it's not going to happen.
They're not going to want to service all that.
Yeah,
they're going to sell the paper. They could go over to Robinhood and sell the damn paper,
And you would buy it.
I would look at it.
Well, one of the things that we offer, and we don't talk about it a lot on this podcast, but we would welcome if you are interested in having just a flat out conversation about the market and a flat out conversation on how we see things and how inventory and rates, in addition to whatever your real estate goals are. But just wanting to have an intelligent conversation, well, maybe with these two. But if you want to talk about burgers and bears.
I love you.
You're the eye candy, remember?
But go ahead and text the word permit to 623-AZ-RECON. That's permit to 623-AZ-RECON.